In the village of Nwoke, they still warn their daughters about the house near the forest because the richest man who ever came to that village married a poor girl named Amara, and before the next full moon, she was gone. And tonight, I'll tell you why. But before we begin, if you love African folktales with dark twists, subscribe now because some stories are not just told, they are remembered. And tell me in the comments, would you marry a stranger if it meant escaping poverty? Amara was beautiful, not the kind that demanded attention, but the kind that made people look twice. Her laughter was soft, her eyes carried quiet dreams. But her family was poor. Her father had fallen ill years ago. Her mother sold roasted maize by the roadside. Many nights, they slept hungry. So, when the richest stranger ever seen in Nwoke arrived, everything changed. He came at sunset. No one saw where he came from. His clothes were spotless, his voice was calm, his smile perfect. And out of all the girls in the village, he chose Amara. The village buzzed with whispers. Why her? What does he see in her? Something about that man is not right. But poverty silences suspicion. When he asked for her hand in marriage, Amara's mother wept tears of relief. My daughter will never suffer again. The wedding was small, but grander than anything their family had ever known. Gifts poured in, goats, yams, fine wrappers. He built her a beautiful house at the edge of the village, near the forest. That was the first sign. No one builds near the forest, but wealth makes people brave or blind. The first week of marriage felt like a dream. He gave her gold bangles, silks, fragrant oils from distant lands. But he had rules, strange rules. He never ate in front of her. He never stayed outdoors when the sun was highest. And every night before sleeping, he would say softly, "Whatever you hear, whatever you see, never look at my feet after midnight." Amara laughed the first time. What kind of warning is that? He smiled, but his eyes did not. Days passed, then weeks. The house was large, yet it felt empty. He left often at night. Sometimes she woke to whispers outside the window. Sometimes she heard scratching beneath the floor. One night, she reached for him in bed. His side was cold. She heard movement, not walking, dragging, slow, heavy. Her heart pounded. She remembered his rule, never look at my feet after midnight. The room was dark, but moonlight slipped through the cracks in the wall. She saw his shadow, standing near the door, facing away from her, too still, too tall. "Amara," he said gently. His voice sounded normal, but it echoed, as if two voices spoke at once. "Go back to sleep." She closed her eyes, but she did not sleep. The next morning, she went to visit her mother. "You look tired," her mother said. "It is nothing," Amara replied. But as she turned to leave, an old woman grabbed her wrist, the oldest woman in the village, blind in one eye. "You married what does not belong to this earth," the old woman whispered. Amara's blood ran cold. "Leave him before the next full moon," she warned, "or you will not return from his house." Amara pulled away. Fear and pride battled inside her. She had escaped poverty. She would not return to it because of stories. That night, the full moon rose, bright, unforgiving. Her husband stood at the foot of the bed again. "Do not watch me tonight," his voice trembled. For the first time, he turned his back, and she saw it. Moonlight touched his legs. They were wrong, bent backward, like an animal's. His feet were not feet at all. They were hooves, black, cracked, resting slightly above the floor, not touching it. Her breath caught. The whispering grew louder. The walls seemed to breathe. Slowly, his head turned, but his body did not. His face twisted unnaturally toward her. "You looked," he said. Now his voice was no longer gentle. It was layered, deep, ancient, hungry. The house began to shake. The fine silks on the walls rotted instantly. The gold bangles on her wrists turned to dust. The beautiful house near the forest dissolved into something dark, alive. She tried to run, but the door was gone. The windows were gone. Only trees, thick forests surrounding them. "You were chosen," said his voice, "not for love, for offering." Shadows wrapped around her ankles. Cold hands pulled her down. She screamed. The village heard nothing. By morning, the house was gone. Only ashes remained near the forest edge. No body, no footprints, nothing. The villagers searched. Her mother wailed until her voice broke. The old woman simply closed her one good eye. "The forest has taken its bride," she said. And from that day on, no one built near the forest again. And when a wealthy stranger comes at sunset, the mothers of Nwoke hide their daughters, because some riches do not come from this world, and some marriages are invitations to disappear.